Hey, Al, I've had lots of questions about what's in your day pack. Especially for those of you who are joining me in the Smoky Mountains or the glacier or a little bit Costa Rica and a couple of the other trips we have coming up. But either way, here's what's in the day pack that I carry. So, first thing to know is I carry a small running vest. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell what it is because it's black. Um, but it I like it. Okay. I like it. I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, it's the bee's knees because there are some drawbacks to it, but this everything I'm going to show you fits in that small running pack. Okay. First thing, question I always get is, well, let's start with food and water. Okay. Inside that pack goes a water bladder. Okay. This water bladder is 2 liters. Okay. That water bladder just has water in it, nothing else. In addition to that, though, I will carry 2 handhelds that have water in them with electrolytes. Okay. As far as electrolytes go, I use none sometimes. I think that's upside down. I use none sometimes. I'm trying out a new one called Enhanced Electrolytes, just because. And there's a lot of great electrolytes out there. Some people really love Liquid IV. There's a ton of them. Here's my suggestion: try them out. Okay. If you don't have an electrolyte that you normally use, then and that you like, then what you want to do is you want to get some small samples or however you can and test them. Go out and do a long hike one day with one electrolyte, and then a couple of days later do another one, because some people's stomachs react differently to different electrolytes. Okay. So just try them out. Okay. So you want to have that. The other thing that I always carry is, if you're going with me on a trip, we're going to have, we're going to carry lunch. We'll carry a sandwich. We'll carry snacks. We'll do all of those things. Right. But in addition to that, I'll carry some extra snacks. I'll carry a bar or two. I'll carry some nuts and berries. I, I always carry goo. Um, if you haven't used goo before, it's it's basically calories, sugar, sodium, and caffeine. Depends on, like, look at the labels when you're buying them, because some of them have more sugar, some of them have more caffeine, some of them don't have caffeine at all. What it's for mostly is when you have exceeded your reserves, and now all of a sudden you're bonking, right? Your brain is not clicking. You're getting foggy. You're catching yourself doing something not too smart. And that's when you want something like goo that's going to go in there and just like hit your brain fast. People can use Coca-Cola for this, but you usually don't have a Coca-Cola on the trail, right? Some foods help, but this is like a super fast delivery system for, sugar into the brain. So it's nice to have some of those. I keep them in my emergency kit too, just in case, like if somebody's bonking and they didn't have something like that, I'll have extra ones in my emergency kit. So the way I do my emergency kit is very, 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 very attractive, right? Every day, I just go through my kit, add a few things. If I use something the day before, I add something else. I have a big kit, a big first aid kit, and I just pull things out. If it looks like we need to bring extra, maybe it's a really long hike that we're going, or maybe there's something special going on, weather could be a deal, I will make sure that I share a couple of extra Ziploc bags with other people in the group. In here, though, just so you know, I have like a little space blanket, one of those silver blankets that you can wrap up in case somebody needs it. I've got a lot of blister pack, a lot of moleskin, Band-Aids. I also keep, it's not in this pack, but I also keep an ace bandage along too, just in case, right? Better to have it and never use it than to not have it. So you've got all those good things. Then here's the question I get all the time: what do you do when you have to pee in the woods or anything else? You'll want to have another very attractive thing that I carry. You'll want to have, so this is the way I do it. I've got a larger Ziploc and a small Ziploc. In this small Ziploc, I have toilet paper. I also have a pair of gloves just in case they're needed. And what's going to happen is that I go out in the woods, and let's say I'm doing something other than peeing. I'm going to use this. I'm going to take that toilet paper. I'm going to put it back in here, zip this up, put it in here and take it with me. Leave no trace. Okay. That's our thing, is leave no trace. If there's one thing I've noticed more and more and more and more on trails, are people just leaving toilet paper behind. There's a lot of reasons not to do that. It's not good for the animals. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the scenic view, and it's just not good. So, if you bring it in, you take it out. But you can do something super special. And if you're just going to pee, get a Kula cloth. Okay. These are Kula cloths. If you haven't heard the podcast episode yet, I interviewed the woman who owns this company, and it's just, these are basically pee rags. Okay. You dab on one side, close it up, and then you hang it on your outside of your pack. They sound kind of funny, but I will tell you, they're super helpful. Like, beats the hell out of using leaves, or maybe even worse, poison ivy, right? Beats the hell out of grabbing something that, is sitting around. Use a Kula cloth. What else? Other things to know. These are just miscellaneous. One, if you have a road ID, wear it. This one, oh my gosh, this road ID is like 20 years old. Word to the wise, if you buy a road ID, you don't have one now and you want to get one, don't get it in black. It's so hard to find this thing. But this one is really old school. And all it is a piece of, it's just Velcro, right? Goes around your ankle or your wrist. And on it, you'll see it has my emergency information, who to call if I'm allergic to something, if there's a medication I need, or whatever it is. Like I said, super old school, probably 20 years old, that one. But what you want to have on that, let me rephrase that. What you can get now with road IDs, if you want to get one, is they have them with chips. So you can put all your medical information on a chip. It's read by somebody who's, somebody who's in the medical industry. They can just read your chip and all of your information comes up. So it's just good to have. One thing I didn't say is that in the bag that I carry my toilet paper in, I carry a couple of other things in here. These are just like quick grab things. One of them is a pair of reading glasses. I hike in my contacts, which means I can't see squat without reading glasses. So I carry reading glasses. I also carry a contact case. And in this contact case, I have some ibuprofen and some, the other one, Tylenol, in case somebody needs it along on the trip. Okay. So I carry that. And then I also carry a couple of blister, just moleskins, just quick grab. Other things. Let's see. I carry a whistle. Okay. For two reasons. One reason is that you should have a whistle. The other reason is that my pack does not have a whistle built in. A lot of your day packs in the clasp that goes across here is a little built-in whistle. So whistles are a great way to communicate. Like, let's say somebody gets too far ahead. Let's say somebody's too far behind. You go back looking for somebody. Whistling can be heard. Yelling doesn't work so much. So check and make sure that you've got, that inside it's usually on the clip. And on that clip, you'll see just a little thing that hangs down a smidge. That's a whistle. Test it. Usually pretty loud. And then I also carry a compass. I know that phones these days do everything in the world. And at the same time, if your phone's dead, a compass is a good thing to have. Along with, I carry paper maps. And yeah, how old are you, Kelly? I'm of the age when, yep, I carry paper maps. Doesn't have to be a big one, but I just want to be able to know that if the phone's not working, or if there's a question, I can double check against technology, against just mapping. I'll carry a couple of carabiners, some parachute cord, just because. I always carry lip balm, and then some sunscreen. Those are the goodies. Then the next thing I do is, before we go out for the day, I'll check the weather, or we'll all be checking the weather. Check the weather. And if it looks like, let's say it looks like, oh my gosh, it's 80 degrees this morning, but we're going to get potentially some weather that comes in, then these are the other things that I'll have. One thing is a buff, I always carry a buff. Buffs can be used for everything. Buffs can be used for sunblock, for your neck, for your face. They can also be used for your head if you're cold, or you can have an attractive hold your hair back moment with a buff. And they're just super usable. The other thing is that if it looks like it could get chilly or cold, I will carry very thin gloves, super thin gloves. I'm usually like, I can handle a big difference in temperature. And I don't like my hands cold, because when your hands get cold, they start losing their usefulness. So I will carry some light gloves. As far as if it looks like we might have some cold weather that comes in, depends on how much they're expecting. I'll either have something very thin, kind of hard to see, but this is like a silk liner that rolls up, and it will go into my pack. I'm not going to wear it out unless it's already cold. It'll go into my pack, and then I can just put it on afterwards. Or if it looks like we could actually have some real weather, I will carry something heavier. This is an icebreaker. This is their 200. So it's kind of a mid-level wool. Once again, merino wool. The other thing that I don't see sitting here, but the other thing I carry is, right now I'm not hiking in boots or shoes that are waterproof. So if we're going to get wet, I am going to carry an extra pair of socks, and they're always wool. So I'm going to carry an extra pair of wool socks. Once the weather passes, or we have, a change in whatever's going on, then I'm going to put on those new socks. Wool socks aren't bad when they're wet. I mean, they really aren't bad when they're wet, but it's just more fun to have dry feet. And I am pretty sure I said this already, but just in case, a couple of containers to hold your electrolytes, and then a water bladder. Other things to know. One thing is, if you go, hey, that running vest is really super cool. It's very lightweight. Okay. Very lightweight, very comfortable. Those are the pros. The cons, it's kind of small. It's not rigid at all, and it's kind of small. So it looks like hell. Sorry, but it really does when it's all lumpy stuff with stuff. But B, it's not going to carry a lot of stuff, and it's not going to hold your poles. Like a lot of your packs are going to hold your poles back there, but it doesn't really hold your poles. So know that. But if you like, I highly recommend the running packs. They're just not as multi-use as some of the other packs out there. All right. I think that kind of takes us from start to finish. You'll be looking at what's the temperature. So whatever the temperature is, you're going to want to carry, whether it's rain or cold or hot or heat or whatever, you're going to want to carry those extra pieces for that. Food, water, emergency, all the emergency stuff. And then of course your leave no trace bag. So thanks, good luck, and I will see y'all on the trail.